Hi, I'm Melissa Castello. I am a NLP master practitioner of Bridge Mind and Spirit, and I'm in North Bend, Washington.
I'm Dawn Angstrom, and I am a QHHT practitioner in Washougal, Washington.
We'd like to come on today and tell you a little bit more about ourselves and how we got to this point. I was married for 23 years, and when I got divorced, I happened upon an ad for some NLP session, and I went and I signed up and I joined the program and became a NLP practitioner and a master practitioner shortly thereafter. Um, for me, it's kind of a full circle because when I was younger, I was introduced to NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. Um, and I found it intriguing. And my husband at that time, I didn't feel like I could really um, pursue that in that relationship. So I just put it aside. And it was very interesting that it came full circle when after we split up. And so that whole process helped me heal um, and helped me find myself after all those years of putting myself aside and being a wife and mother, raising children, and putting everybody in front of me as I just went through the motions. So that was a huge part of my healing journey, and it was a fast track to heal and remember who I am, who I'd forgotten I was.
Beautiful. And who are you?
You know, I am I'm very intuitive, and that's another part of me that I didn't realize had gone away. I've always been intuitive. My mom and actually my children are very intuitive, and he didn't believe in that either. So I put that away, and once we were no longer together, it started to come back, and I was surprised how much I had missed it. It was like a being reunited with a long lost friend. And so that's a part of me that I embrace now is being one happy and accepting who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
Hardest part, isn't it?
It is. It is
It's
really.
shaking off and accepting that every person is all of those things, and it's okay.
It is.
And
It
and
is.
that's the hard part is going, no, it's okay. We're all those things. It's okay. And just let it go.
Yeah.
So,
It's a huge lesson because I was taught, I was raised to think so much less of that I was supposed to put everybody in front of me, and I wasn't supposed to have any kind of self. And I think that is the most important thing.
right. And we were both raised in a fairly strict church type setting that, it's been around forever. And yeah, I had the same thing. And isn't it interesting to learn that all the things we didn't agree with about the church were all the things they were doing wrong?
True.
So my story is a little bit longer. I think yours is more succinct, but if you're okay with that, I'll share some.
Please do.
Okay. Well, I grew up as a person that just kind of always had a knowing and a, highly empathic. And I think my knowing is probably to what you would have called your intuition. Like, just always knew things. I don't know why. And I didn't ask, it just was. And I assumed everybody was that way. And I always, as an adult, I really didn't attend formal church because I couldn't buy it. I could buy that there's a purpose for it, but it wasn't for me, and more about spirituality in general. I just was a spiritual person without a label because I didn't know anything. My husband would call it the woo-woo side of the world. I didn't know anything about any of that. That wasn't my side of the world at all. But I started getting more and more fascinated. I have some friends that, one of them is a psychic medium, and, just very intriguing, interesting people that, I found that I had a lot in common with. And I kind of lived on the edge there. I wasn't exactly over, I wasn't in either world. I was kind of right there in the middle. And one day they took me to a crystal shop. And it's all very fascinating and interesting. And they were playing with pendulums. And I thought, ooh, maybe I'll get a pendulum. That would be cool. And so I bought a pendulum, and I bought the little mat and everything. And I went home and I found that I was very good at it. Very, very, very good with the pendulum. Like, I went from that, in that same day, creating an entire alphabet and having full on conversations and like paragraph long conversations. And so it was really fun. And I got very cocky with it because I thought, ooh, I'm just super, super good at this. But keep in mind, I don't know what I'm messing with. I'm just living in a state of, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this. And so what that did was that led to where my spiritual awakening happened. And I won't go into too much detail with that, but it ultimately ended with connection with spirit, and um and being able to talk on um and I and it's very complicated because I live in a home where none of this is accepted. This is my husband, of course, thinks it's all very strange, and he just wants me to go back to working in law. And um but I digress. So I went to that, then had this spiritual awakening shift, and I have no idea what's happening to me. I have no idea. I have no support, nobody to turn to. I don't even know how to approach the subject or who to approach it with. Period. I'm just overwhelmed and not certain if my sanity is intact. But ultimately I really did know it was, but I knew that if I talked to the wrong people about it, that they would think that it wasn't. Um, and so I, of course, good old YouTube, searching YouTube for answers. And this is about a year or two into my awakening, somewhere in there, because there's a big blur of it all, because there was a lot of, there was a lot of traumatic things that happened during that time. Um, anyway, and I was like, well, you hear all this terminology, or star seeds and light workers and all this terminology, right? Which I don't really know what any of that is. And so I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm searching star seeds, and I'm researching, light workers, and I'm like just trying to figure out who I am. What am I doing? What is this purpose? And I landed on something, some search for starseed, and there was a picture of Dolores Cannon there. And it turned out to be what I felt like Dolores Cannon wasn't in the YouTube at all, but for some reason I knew 100% I had to find out who that woman was. And I did. And then I asked my people, am I supposed to take her class? And they're like, yes, you are. And not only that, you have to go all the way through level 3. Well, I hypnotherapy had never even crossed my mind, but I did it. I just keep doing exactly what is being asked of me, which has led us to, I've been practicing QHHT. As I mentioned, I don't advertise. Um, I don't have a website. People find me if they're sent to find me at this point in time. Um, but we were told that we needed to start making TikTok videos and YouTube videos. And so we are doing that because I don't believe neither you or I, Melissa, have ever done anything like this before. But I felt like it was kind of important to share with you that I am somebody that is a spiritual person living within a world that doesn't understand it at all. And I'm still going ahead and pursuing my mission within kind of territory that's unfriendly and in a lot of ways, and it's complicated, but it can be done. And it's about embracing the truth of that and why you're here. And that's the hardest part, right? Is understanding that we're all here for this big purpose, whatever the mission is. And the asides, right, our marriages and all of that, they're all relevant and important and part of the challenge for us, but it is to follow your truth, right? It's to follow that truth. And so to stay in your mission. Once you know you're in a mission, follow it. So that's how I see it. And so here we are today. And perhaps to TMI, and I apologize for that, but I am grateful for your ear, and I hope that there are those out there that maybe, I've helped a little bit understand that it's all going to be okay. And just sharing a little bit of my story maybe helps.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yes, well, I know it's a lot longer than yours, so I'm sorry.
We all go through that journey, and my story definitely isn't short. Uh, and it's a lot. It's a lot to process, and I know that we're not the only ones out there going through this. So, we're building a community, and I hope you all join us on this journey with us because we're all in it together, and we're all learning together. And there's so many people who don't have the support, and we're here. So thanks.
Welcome you, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Yes.